Breakfast is the most important meal of the day. Yeah, whatever. Dude, I'm hiking the AT and I'm starving. Hey guys, Todd here and welcome to Hiking a Different Path. Now, if you've watched any of my content, you know that I'm working to put together meals for my thru hike that are close to home cooking as possible, diversified enough so that I lower the risk of burnout, and if I can save a buck or two over buying prepackaged backpacker meals like Mountain House, Packet Gourmet, and others, well then all's the better. That, plus my given choice of resupply this year in a COVID-entrenched world means I'm doing a lot of meal setups. I'll link to those videos in the content section below. Now, if you haven't watched any of these, well, now's a good time to subscribe to the channel, and you're going to want to make sure you hit that bell notification as well so you know when I've dropped more content like this, and there are going to be a lot more recipes and food-related content coming up. Oh, and it'd be nice if you'd drop a like or 20 on those videos that you do watch. It does help a lot. So when it comes to breakfast in the real world, I don't partake, at least not on the regular. You know, Saturday or Sunday sometimes, but during the week, nada. I love breakfast for sure. I particularly love eggs, which is really what this recipe is all about. It's just that my life is so busy and morning is definitely my best time of the day, so I'm always up early getting things done, and well, breakfast turns out to be the first casualty of the day. An Appalachian Trail thru hike, however, is a horse of a totally different color. The caloric deficiency incurred on a thru hike, well, that's the stuff of legend. So, as I'm interviewing a lot of hikers that I've watched in 2020, the weight loss over the course of the hike ranges from a low of around 26 ounces. Okay, so obviously this buffoon that you're looking at on screen meant pounds rather than ounces. Now, back to your regularly scheduled programming. To as high as 85. Now, the average is closer to 30 to 35 range, but that just makes meal planning and hiker hunger all the more important to look at. Also, while I'm trying to save a buck wherever possible, just like saving weight, sometimes you just gotta let it go so you can have what you want or what you're comfortable with. Now, that's where I'm at with this recipe today, so let's get into it. Now, this is a pulled together recipe for my take on a breakfast skillet meal. And I'm using freeze-dried eggs as a base for this recipe. Now, while this isn't the cheapest way to go, dehydrating my own eggs for this one was just not something that was very easy for me to figure out, and I just flat didn't trust myself not to give me salmonella poisoning. So, go ahead. Laugh. I'm laughing with you. Now, the rest of the ingredients are purchased as well, but fully doable by anyone with a dehydrator and time. It's just a shortcut for me on this one meal option. So, the first ingredient is the freeze-dried eggs with bacon, and I'm going to do 3 ounces of that. The next, we have dehydrated ground sausage. I'm doing 1 ounce of that, and I do my own in this case. Dehydrated potatoes, about ½ ounce. Some dehydrated carrots. Now, I usually do 2 tablespoons, and it just came out about ½ ounce to just shy of ½ ounce rather in this case. Dehydrated spinach, gonna do 1 tablespoon or just about 1/10 ounce in this case. And here again, I can do my own dehydrated spinach. It just happens that I had a container of this on hand that I wanted to get used up. All of this comes out to a packaged weight of just around 5½ ounces by itself. Now, this meal is a lot of food and maybe just a tad on the bland side. I mean, we're talking freeze-dried eggs after all. Nutritionally, it's got a lot of protein and a nice dab of veggies with the carrots and the spinach, and if you want to call a potato a vegetable, then there you go. And you can sub in whatever vegetable choices you may care to add. Any and all of which will add to the flavor profile for the individual hiker. What I'm still short on is good fats and a little kick in the flavor department. So I include a single serving packet of olive oil, and I just add that when you add the water, and a self-packaged baggie of Creole seasoning. And I'll use that to season the taste. And I may use all of it, and if I do, Yahtzee. If not, I save the packet to use with whatever lunch or dinner option I have that day. Creole seasoning on a tuna or chicken tortilla wrap is an awesome thing. Trust me. When you do rehydrate this meal, just fill with boiling water to the top of the contents. Give it a good stir, but hold off adding any more water until it's sat for just a few minutes. Give it another stir and add a dab more water if you think you need it. It's easy to add too much water to this, and while I'm a hungry thru-hiker who's been known to eat just about anything, watery eggs are just a little bit lower on the list than, say, grub worms. Okay, so place the meal in a cozy and let it rehydrate for about 15 minutes. Now, the 15 minutes is more about the potatoes and the carrots than it is about the eggs. The more time you can give those, the more tender and less chewy they're going to be. Now, this happens to be just one of a dozen or more breakfast options that I'm putting together for my hike. I like a savory breakfast from time to time, and this will fit the bill really nice. So there you go, breakfast skillet DIY meal for the trail. Now, while it's probably just about as much as a Mountain House meal purchase, I think you get a whole lot more bang for the buck in nutrition and in flavor. I certainly hope you enjoyed that, and until next week, take a hike and love somebody along the way.